Ladies and gentlemen, are you prepared for another emotional experience? Another ride on the delicious roller coaster that is Chilling Wargamers. I'm your co-host, the legendary Andy 2D6. Joining me is the equally legendary, the Chicken Lord, Mr. Spud Tate.
Chicken. Hello, Mr. Andy 2D of the D6. How are you today on this wonderful fine day?
I'm wonderful. I'm still feeling the positive vibes from that KFC from yesterday.
The KFC was legendary and powerful. It gave me all my energy to go to the gym today and throw machines out of the window.
I think we've shattered our own record for how fast we got to the chicken discussion.
Yeah, that was definitely the fastest. We need to complain before we go any further. KFC yesterday forgot to put barbecue sauce in as well.
They did.
Oh,
Just saying.
Also joining us this week is the wonderful, the tiny little man himself, Mr. Elstonation.
Bonjour, people. How's it going?
You don't mind me introducing you using your height as the only description, do you?
Well, to be fair, it's kind of like a running gag since I was 5, so I've kind of got to do it now. So yeah, go for it.
The tiny little dancing pixie of the Chilling Wargamers.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I've had a really interesting week. I've been helping out Wargames Bakery with their Kickstarter, which has gone live, and that has smashed through its goal. So I'm going to be helping them out do some more other bits and bobs as well. So,
Wonderful. And, of course, our guest for this evening. Here she is, all the way from Germany. It's GirlPainting.
No.
Hello.
Hello? Hi, Jubies.
Yes.
The people wanted to hear it, and you haven't disappointed. How are you doing this evening?
A little bit tired, but okay overall.
Well, I'm sure you'll liven up in a minute in this wonderful, delicious, emotional atmosphere that we tend to create on Chilling Wargamers.
Yeah, for the emotional part, I have tissue already.
Yes, it's
very
good. I don't have any tissues to hand today.
Yeah, I don't either. I'll just have to use my t-shirt again.
Spud, your like Viking tears just run straight down into your beard, and then they're absorbed back into your body.
Yeah, the tears don't actually roll down. I'm so hard that I'm crying, but I'm not.
you just suck them back in.
Yeah.
Salty. Okay, so our lovely audience, if you want to get any questions in, painting questions might be good on this episode. Just a thought. Get them
Painting?
there now.
I know nothing about painting, so don't ask me.
Yeah, if you want to ask about miniature painting or nail painting, go ahead. It'll be a first for us. I don't think we've discussed that before on this show. Unless there was an episode before I joined, Spud. Did you have a fingernail special?
I don't think we did. No, we cancelled it at the last minute.
Well, I guess I have 2 fingernail videos on my channel. But
Yeah,
other
we
than
don't
that-
do anything like that, do we?
It's an area that we should look to branch out into, I think. It's a gap that we're not exploiting at the moment.
I think Spud's got to be the first test dummy on this one, though.
I ain't got any. Like, I chew mine.
Well, what about your toenails?
Yeah.
I chew them as well.
No, you don't. You're not that flexible.
Guys,
Oh,
I have an idea for you. You should use that. First of all, you need some clear nail polish.
Okay.
And then your handy-dandy transfer sheet of various kinds of your choice. And then you just paint the nail with a clear nail polish. Let that dry. Then you apply the transfer like you would always do on any miniature. And then you apply a second coat of the clear. And voila, you can support your army.
Awesome. Right, Andy, next time we're out doing something and Spud passes out, I am so putting Blood Angel stuff on his fingernails.
Blood Angels and Ultramarines.
Yeah.
One for each hand.
I chop my own hands off.
I'm gonna use you as a human shield though, because if he wakes up and sees it, he's gonna rip something apart, and I don't.
think it probably would. It'd be like in those films when someone wakes up and they're in a hospital and they just rip all the tubes out.
Well, you could possibly go with some matte varnish over it in the end to seal the glancing part.
Oh yeah, yeah. We can put some purity seal all over your hands.
You know, I might actually do this as a tutorial.
How did
I might do it. I've got plenty of transfers in the drawer from various Space Marine and the Chaos kind of kits. I might do it. If enough members of the audience urge me to do it, then I might do it.
He's going to do it anyway, but yeah.
The challenge has been laid down.
I'll help you out with that.
Okay, so, first things first. Question for our guest. So, a while ago, I believe it was sometime last year, you kind of took a little break from doing painting tutorials. You were feeling a bit burned out, if I recall. And then,
well, as you might have seen my channel lately, I've found actually music that I can put behind my videos. So I'm going to make some more speed painting tutorials in the next future. But don't worry, the normal tutorials with voiceover will continue. Absolutely. This is the main backbone of my channel. It was always and will always be the backbone of my channel. And well, you mentioned it. I have a little bit of a burnout of painting miniatures. When I started here on YouTube, I made several videos a week, and nobody can keep up with this pace with as a single person in one channel. I don't have a channel supported by several people like Mini Wargaming or here Chilling Wargamers or whatever channel that is run by several people. So I do my best to make the tutorials, and yeah, they come when they come.
How long do you think? Well, how long on average? Because I've done a few painting tutorials, and they take me pretty much an entire day of like having to sort of stop, film, switch, change paints, all sorts of stuff, and then you go to the video editing part of things and doing the voiceover and stuff, and that takes equally just as long. Like, how long do you reckon, just on average, do you think one tutorial would? How long it would take you to make?
About 2 to 3 days.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and speed painting videos take me about, well, half an hour filming and 10 minutes video editing. So that's the difference.
Okay.
And the thing with the normal tutorials is what several people don't actually recognize when they see, oh, there's a nice video now, and they don't see what is behind the video, that I have had maybe 5 takes on one miniature before the tutorial is actually finished, and sometimes whole miniatures are wasted, and in between the videos I have maybe 10 failed attempts.
I've had
Making a video, I have only one shot on this miniature. If I miss something or I misspelled something while painting, I can't just go back. It's completely wasted then.
do you remember one particular miniature that was just a complete nightmare and took you a really long time?
Well, the last miniature I wanted to make a tutorial of was this little dwarf here, and well, it's now a wasted miniature.
Oh dear.
I have several of those lying
Maybe
around.
maybe should sacrifice it and set it on fire.
Here, for example, another big one. Wasted tutorial in the middle of painting.
Wow.
Well, sometime I will actually finish this miniature and show it on Facebook, but there will never be a tutorial about this.
Yeah. That makes sense. Do you ever find, like, with like the little mistakes, like little ones, you can kind of?
Yeah, with a little mistake you see absolutely here and there on my videos. I can show how to correct those mistakes, but when I make a major mistake, when I, for example, I'm painting and I try to explain something, and guys, English is not my mother language. When I sit there and how it is called, one moment, this is a failed attempt, just because I couldn't pronounce that what I wanted to tell.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, that makes.
Not always the painting. It's most of the time the talking that is a failed attempt.
To be fair, because I've done tutorials as well, and when you're trying to put the voice down, I speak English and it's been my first language, but I still go wrong all the time. I'm like, yep, no, I shouldn't use that word. And it takes me hours sometimes to get it right. Yeah, I'm with you on that front.
I'm the same.
But English isn't your first language.
No. It goes chicken, Viking, common, English.
The peasant's language comes first.
Peasants first.
Now, another question. You've painted a really wide variety of miniatures.
Yes.
Is there any particular type that you like more than the rest and you find the most fun to do?
No, actually not.
Do you just enjoy the variety?
Yes. The thing is, my most favorite miniatures from the story background are the Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines.
Okay.
But actually, they are not the most fun to paint. So, also I enjoy Chaos in Warhammer Fantasy, Chaos Demons, Wood Elves, what else? Bretonnians, Undead, and everything else that I can get my fingers on that I really like. So sometimes I see a miniature and then, boom, I must have it. Like this one here.
That's Forge World.
It's a
Warback, is it?
Forge World possessed from the Gal Forbeck.
Yeah, that's Horus Heresy range, I believe.
Yes. Gal Forbeck, Wordbearers Legion. I saw that on Facebook. Somebody have painted them, and I must have them. Not because I need them for my army. Well, I don't have an 30k army, and I will probably use them just as stand-ins for obliterators in 40k. But they just look cool. I must have them. So
was that the same video where a guy had done like little water on the bases as well? Because I saw a video of them and they looked amazing. And I collect Night Lords in 30k, and I wanted to get those, even though they're not part of my army. But yeah, they are really nice. I was thinking Chaos Terminators they could have been used for, so that'd been quite nice.
What you know your terrain pieces that you were working on for the battle? Is it Battle Zones for Mantic?
yeah.
Did you enjoy paint? Have you painted any of them apart? Have you still in the process?
I've not painted them yet. The problem is I would like to paint them with my airbrush.
Yeah. Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't have the room to actually use my airbrush. I would need to have an atelier, work room for all my art stuff, airbrushing, painting on canvas, and painting miniatures. But I unfortunately don't have that. I only have here my kitchen and my bedroom, and obviously it's not very good to spray paint something in your bedroom, and I don't want to do that in my kitchen either. So until then, might take a while until I really paint them. I'm looking forward to make maybe here and there a little bit of weathering tutorial, one or two panels, but really painting a whole gaming table for that, I don't plan to do. Actually, Mantic contacted me and said, okay, can we send you some samples to show the stuff? I said, okay, send it to me. And then, boom, this real giant box. I was, Too much. What should I do with that? I don't have even the room to store that. The box is still under my kitchen table.
Yeah. Well, if recently in Leeds, there's a flat over the road. It's actually got 2 bedrooms. So if you move to Leeds, you could have 2 bedrooms.
It's just Spud's plan to recruit everyone to move to Leeds. So the
Gets
Wargaming
his way,
world.
yeah.
Right, Nottingham's like where all the miniatures will be, but all the Wargamers be in Leeds. So then one day, Games Workshop will have to move from Nottingham to Leeds. That's the plan. So everything's just in Leeds. So I'd have to get a bus anyway.
Well, wouldn't it be easier to move to Nottingham then?
No, because you wouldn't be in Nottingham, and Andy wouldn't be in Nottingham, and Elson wouldn't be in Nottingham. So if everybody moves to Leeds, it's the problem
Well, I
solved.
wouldn't be in Leeds either. So it doesn't matter if you are Nottingham or Leeds, to me.
You got a failed attempt there, Spud.
One day when Spud brings this up, one of the guests is just going to immediately move to Leeds. It's going to work one day, Spud. Just keep trying.
Yeah.
Well,
So if,
let me say it that way. I was born here in Solingen, in Germany, and I'm probably gonna die here in Solingen, in Germany.
It's going to be a hard one to get her out, man. It's going to be a hard one. He's going to think of a battle plan now to try and entice you out to come over to the UK.
Yeah, that's how Spud feels about
Oh, and
Leeds.
here one commercial for the children. If you want to have such a nice voice like me and cough all the time, do that.
And if you want to be a Viking like Spud, eat lots of chicken.
And facial hair.
yes, buddy.
Stuck in those tears.
Now, on the subject of that Battlezone train, did you actually enjoy assembling it? Because I found it really fun. It's kind of like Lego.
Yes and no. The thing is, the connectors are sometimes quite hard to, well, actually connect the pieces with. So you have to apply a little bit of force to push the stuff together. But when you have done it, well, it works. 1 second.
Yeah, I found that with Mantic stuff as well. Like, if it connects easily, it's really fun, but sometimes the connector pieces...
So,
I was just saying, like, with those connector pieces in Mantic, if they go together easily, it's really fun to do and put together, but...
so
No.
for example, this little building here, I haven't used any connectors at all. So I have glued it together.
Oh, okay.
You see, no connectors anywhere.
Impressive.
So this stuff here is going on quite nicely. And here I have used the connectors, and it was quite a challenge to put that all together. But with enough glue and patience, you can build whatever you want with it. But for the modular stuff that you can always reconnect, that doesn't work the way they advertise it.
I think the best way to do it is to just build several buildings that kind of connect together, not a building where you can take all the walls off, because you
Yes.
are going to want to glue it. Especially if the connector doesn't go completely snugly in, and you have to actually file it down a little bit.
Also, if you haven't been quite clean with the
Clippers.
with the clippers, then the parts will not actually fit quite together, and then the whole building looks like the Tower of Pisa.
Yeah, once you go through the cleaning up process, though, I think once you've got every single piece nice and smooth edges, and you just sit there with a huge box of it, it becomes fun then, I think.
Yeah, but coming to that part, clipping all the stuff out and removing all the mold lines and all the clips, especially, that takes quite a while until everything is out of the box.
It's one of those things.
But then-
It's not really difficult. It just takes a really long time. It's kind of like if you're doing an undead army for something and you have 100 zombies with mold lines.
Yes, it's a mindless task, but if you are watching a nice TV show and you can do that a whole evening long, then you can get maybe half of this box clean.
Or you just get your big box of it ready there, and then just turn on Chilling Wargamers playlist every single episode back to back.
Or you go to your local store and recruit one little children for a box of Space Marines. Say, you get this box of Space Marines if you clip all the stuff out.
I will have to say that officially Chilling Wargamers do not endorse child slavery.
However, we may use it from time to time.
We may, but
We don't.
as we say, not as we do. Essentially. Now, there is one thing actually I really wanted to ask you. A lot of painters shy away from certain things because it's seen as cheating. But your channels, you were one of the first kind of pro painter type people that I actually saw who was happy to use quick shade on a miniature.
There is no cheating in painting. Let me tell you something. Little story. About art in general. You know artists from the old ages like Michelangelo, Raphael, and something like that?
Mm-hmm.
And the paintings they have are stunning. They are really perfect paintings, and all the details and everything's absolutely perfectly painted. They are called master painters, not for something squishy there. So, but quite a few years back, the paintings were just two-dimensional and looked like children's paintings. And out of a sudden, all the painters got better? Out of the blue? No. That's because the guild system in the old days was that a master from one guild was not allowed to teach their methods to a master of someone else. So a baker, for example, couldn't teach the baker master recipes to a blacksmith. That wasn't possible.
Right.
So, and there was an art guild. And in the art guild, there were the mirror makers and the diamond polishers and all that stuff. So, and out of the sudden, the art masters could get a hand on really fancy spherical mirrors and project images with light on a wall. And so they could, out of a sudden, trace all the outlines and see the image directly on the canvas.
Okay, so
Most people, when they hear artist, they imagine the artist stands there with the book, with a pencil, and scribbles a perfect image. But this is not true. Artists have cheated over centuries. And one lesson my art teacher gave me at the first day on art school, he told me there is no cheating. Everything that makes you better as a painter is allowed. So, to everybody out there who says quick shade is cheating, airbrush is cheating, dipping is cheating, washes using is cheating, you're just stupid. You're just, it's like painting a miniature with if you're a right-hander, painting a miniature with your right hand stripped to your back. That doesn't make sense. Just use the stuff that makes you a better painter.
Yeah.
That's it. That's my take on everything about cheating in painting.
That's it, pro painters. You've been warned.
That's pretty much what I think. I think if something helps you achieve a better end result, then it doesn't really matter.
Nobody. For example, you look at a masterpiece from an art painting contest, Crystal Brush, Golden Demon, or whatever painting contest there's out there. Do you actually ask how this effect on this miniature is achieved? No, you just sit there, wow, masterpiece. Obviously, the masters use airbrushes and use washes and use weathering tools like pigments and oil washes, and they use hairspray and salt techniques and all the fancy stuff that we as painting tutorial makers try to give out to the community. But sometimes there is this little boy that he's using airbrush now. This is cheating. No, it's just stupid.
I have a question actually in regards to painting tutorials. Have you come across any kind of say you learnt a technique from someone and then you created a tutorial on how to do that technique? You're not cheating, you're not copying, you're just sharing. Have you encountered any sort of resistance or negativity to that? Of people saying, "Oh, you've taken my technique"?
Only once.
Only once. Okay.
Only once. There was, like I said, the salt and airbrush technique for weathering. There was a video series made from what was the somebody, I don't recall the name right now, but it was only on German, and there was no tutorial about this on the entire internet on English. So I thought to me, okay, I could understand that, I can repeat that, and I can share the knowledge with all the English-speaking people in the internet. I made that video, and out of a sudden, 2 or 3 people pointed out that this was actually made by Massive Voodoo. That was that the video was from Massive Voodoo, and I have just copied that and blah. But let me tell you something. There is no copyright on a technique. It never was, and there never will be.
Sorry, no, it's just I encountered something a bit like that recently, so I was just seeing if other people had the similar sort of reactions and stuff like that. So
yeah, for example, somebody made an ultramarine tutorial. Am I not allowed to make my own ultramarine tutorial about that?
Yeah, because
So
everyone uses different colours, don't they? As well.
Java Balls did a Blood Angel tutorial. Does that mean he is the ultimate owner of Blood Angel tutorials? I don't think so.
Yep.
If suddenly one day we're allowed to trademark certain painting techniques, I'm immediately going to grab washing and edge highlighting instantly. Those will be mine.
What would you go for, Spud? Because like, I know possibly eating pigments might be one of yours.
I don't know. This is gonna. But recently, I've been really getting into like I think it's wet blending.
Yeah.
And
Dips.
using like in my models and stuff, I always felt when I painted them, they want like any lines in between to like cut off a section of the model. And now what I do is I just add like a little bit of water to black. It's like literally like water, and I just go around the inside. It's pretty much a wash, but it's not shiny at all over it, and I make sure all like so it outlines everything really well. And I've been really enjoying that recently, actually. I know that's totally out of context.
No, it's kind of it's like shading, sort of.
Yeah, shading.
Is there a specific name for that, where you go around and like divide up all the pieces of a model with a tiny thin line of black?
Edge highlighting, but
Edge shading.
But watery, so we could have some conflict on this.
It's called blacklining. That what you said, Andy, is blacklining.
Right.
Yes.
Backlining.
Good.
There you go. You got backline. I got dry brushing.
Dry brushing.
Oh, that's
wow.
a handy one.
Yeah, that's a need. That's a really good
I guess I
one.
take layered highlighting.
Oh, okay. I'll go with airbrushing.
Oh, wow, there's loads, isn't there?
Ooh.
I'll go with rust effects.
The thing is, you could probably survive on just a few techniques, really, couldn't you?
Yeah,
You don't
well,
need
you
to
made
use
one
absolutely
there.
everything.
This is how just it'd be a simple way. It'd be undercoat, obviously. You've got your base coats, your dry brush, your washes, and then your final highlights, and that's it.
Well, I could survive without washes and edge highlighting, but I couldn't survive without layering.
Mm.
I guess Terranaholic couldn't survive without dry brushing, so if you take that from him...
It's fine. Everyone on the internet is now just going to have to deal with the fact that I own dry brushing, and if you ever use it in a video, I want copyright royalties on the
Send
door.
out the jets!
Send me the money. Thank you very much.
The jets.
Officially, I own it now.
And if anyone ever wants to get that technique or that effect on their models, they're going to have to send them to you and pay you vast amounts of money to do it for them.
Exactly, and if you ever want to do edge highlighting, you are going to have to write Andy a check. Oh,
Yeah.
basic.
Then you have to contact Games Workshop, because on every miniature there's edge highlighting, so...
We're going to have to get the lawsuit on the go. Spud, do
I
you want
think-
to, swallow up?
I will accept full ownership of Games Workshop as payment, I think.
And fan space moons.
I'll have Forge World.
Yeah, you can have the Forge World wing if you like.
No thanks. You know what I'd do? I'd get rid of all the Forge World stuff, right? So I'd keep all the models and everything, and then employ all the Yomart staff to come over here, and then put it all out, because it'd be better. So yeah, that's what I'd do. That'd be quite a good idea. I'd keep all the artists and the designers, because they're just ridiculously awesome and talented. But then I think it's just the process of the Forge World production. 45's in the post.
You did have trouble with that big flyer that you got, didn't you?
Yeah.
No comment. We don't talk about that anymore.
None of the pieces actually touching each other because they were so weirdly shaped.
Well, one side of it you could see straight through it, and then the rest of it was just. It took me literally altogether over 30 hours just to fix it before even putting it together. Like,
imagine if you were doing a tutorial on painting it after that as well.
my wonderful friend bought it off me because I just couldn't paint it because I was so annoyed at it. But he'll see the masterpiece that went into cleaning it up. Like, he's just sat there for literally like an hour just going filing it. Yeah,
You don't really want a miniature that's got parts on it so thin when you put it down on the table, like a little blade of grass just pokes through its wing or something.
Yeah. They sent out a replacement for that, but that's okay. But it was very bent and wobbly.
You didn't throw it out the window in the end, though, did you?
No, I sent it to Alston instead.
Yeah, I'm going to fix it up and make it awesome.
You've not done it yet?
No.
He waiting for me to cool. He was waiting for me to calm down.
Spud's got to come visit and give me guidance on how to dry brush this thing.
No, you've got dry brush. You know about dry brushing.
Yeah, I know that, but
I'll add the rush to it.
I
Rule
need.
number 1 for painters: never dry brush.
Well, what we might have to do is get everyone to go to Leeds so that we're all in place, and then we can't sue each other for copyright because we'll all be on the same video.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Perfect.
So everyone's going to have to go to Leeds for the day.
Yeah, we could kind of collaborate so only we can paint a complete miniature, and everyone else in the world can just make do with whatever they're still allowed to do. Like
Or,
painting, maybe.
One solution would be we take a miniature, and when another technique is necessary, we send the miniature to the other person.
Yeah.
And then one of us accidentally gets a speck of paint on another part of the model, and then you realise, oh no, I'm not allowed to touch it, I better send it all the way back.
Yes, and that's
we could
the
recruit.
chain miniature then.
We could recruit our like factories of dry brushes and kids that we don't endorse but possibly employ.
You know, when you sue dry brushing, then blue tablet painting will go out of business. You know?
Oh. Ooh. That's a
They do like some dry brushing there.
Sorry?
They do like a bit of dry brushing.
They do, they do.
That's another technique that gets unfairly criticised, I think. Much like quick shade and a lot of other things, edge highlighting.
Well, the thing on dry brushing is it's criticized because it is quick and ugly.
Interesting thought on that one, because I find I do, now this is a weird one, I do edge highlighting with a dry brush method. So I don't get the really thin paint and just try and do the line, I just flick like that.
Yeah, that's the way edge highlighting is done. If you try to do that with a ballpoint, you get insane.
I've done that, yeah. That might explain it.
It's like you try to highlight a skeleton, each bone single with a tip of the brush.
I think if I had done that instead of quick shading all my skeletons, I think I would actually be dead right now. Or I'd still be there on maybe the third skeleton instead of having 100 done a year ago. That would not have been too enjoyable.
I have been down that road already. 200 skeletons.
It's a long road.
Yes, it's a long, long road.
With a lot of pain and sacrifice.
And I actually invented the dipping before Army Painter did it. Yes, this was it 2003, I believe. Yeah, 2003. I bought 5 pots of wash. Spray painted all my skeletons in white, put the washes in one glass, and then all the skeletons.
There you go. She's got dipping. She invented it, therefore she gets it.
Yeah.
When I'm using quick shade, I always find that if I actually dip the model in it, then I just don't have enough control over it, so I tend to just brush it on.
Well, the best technique for dipping is actually dip it, shake it, and then go back with a brush and clean off the major parts.
Could a cotton bud be used at that point? Because you could kind of wipe it, but smudge it.
Yes, no. You have to use a cotton tip that is not likely to spill little hairs on the miniature.
Okay.
A brush is better for that.
Yeah, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Right.
I had a question. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Andy.
No, go ahead.
Oh,
I was
I was just going to ask. Sorry, Mike. Do you have any plans for the future for your channel? Are there like anything you want to aspire to, like a certain amount of subscribers, do tutorials on something in particular? Or...
I'm always, since I launched here on YouTube, I always imagined myself to have at least 1 million subscribers. At the current rate, that will take me another 5 years. Other than that, no.
You are one of the top channels in terms of subscribers, though, aren't you?
For the single persons, yes. There are several persons that have still more subscribers, like for example, Awesome Paint Shop, of course, and I guess Terranaholic still has more. But other than that, there's only Blue Table Painting, Mini Wargaming, and WG Consortium, I believe. We have more than me.
Beast of War.
Beast of War.
Yeah. Beast of War.
Yeah, you're up there with all those guys, though, aren't you, in numbers?
We're pretty high up there as well. We've got 400. We're near the top.
In our defence, though, that is just the combined Chilling Wargamers channel that has 400. The rest of us have our own group of subscribers as well.
Yeah, that's true, actually. If we combined all of our subscribers together, we'd be about
But I must defend myself. The 29,000 I have are to 2/3, I believe, dead subscribers. Well, they are not actually dead, I hope not, but not 29,000 people watch my videos.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Dead subscribers.
Maybe people who subscribed and then their computer just exploded.
Yeah.
They just
Something
can't
like
get
that.
online anymore.
Yeah.
Or they just moved away from the hobby. And they
They all
didn't
moved,
think...
they all moved
They
to
didn't
Leeds.
think, yeah, they didn't think, hey, I'll go back on my YouTube account and unsubscribe from all 300 channels.
No, I believe they tried something new that is called real life, and
Yeah, I've seen that,
then
yeah.
they were sucked into this vortex and never came back.
Oh, that one.
But do you know a little bit about that? You've had a bit of real life, haven't you?
I've had
You were
some
without
real life.
internet for a couple of months.
Yeah, I had 2 months of real life. It was the worst part of my life in the world. It was horrible. I had to walk out the door and go do things.
What was it like?
The door?
It was weird. It was really weird. There were these things called people, and I used to wear headphones so I couldn't hear them because some of the stuff they said were just terrible and useless.
So you found out that the door actually opens all the way, not just a tiny hole in the middle of it for miniatures to fall through.
Just that and a chicken-sized envelope as well, so they can just post that straight through. But yeah, there were these things called people. It was what a waste of time and oxygen they were. It's talking about
Were they
irrelevant
three-dimensional and everything?
things. There were these other things called botherers. Right, this is a real story. They're called botherers. I've heard about these in stories on the internet, everything. And what they do is, say you're walking down the street, and there's all these people about anyway. These botherers come up to you and try to take your money off you, and want you to sign up to these programs that are totally irrelevant to you. And then you walk past them once and they bother you, and then even though you're wearing the same clothes, when you're walking back, they bother you again. You just go away, botherer, and they won't leave you alone. They're just trying to just take your money off you. So yeah, it was horrible.
Sometimes they really need to collect money for children in these countries that have financial difficulties.
Well, I got the other day one of these botherers, and they were supporting WWF, and I'm like, you destroyed wrestling, so don't even talk to me. And just carried on walking, and just don't ever talk to me.
That's fair.
Well, I have a solution for world peace.
Mm.
Give all the conflict parties free internet access.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be good for that.
Yeah. Free internet. Off you go.
Free internet, free chicken. Boom.
You know,
World peace.
give them all free internet, but not necessarily a computer or anything to use it.
I'm not sure about free chicken. Would you be subsidising the chicken farmers for this? Because if
No.
you don't, then obviously they're not making money, and if you do, then maybe the turkey farmers, for example, might get a little bit distressed.
Maybe the chicken farmers have become like Microsoft sort of thing, so they'll become the Bill Gates of the world.
Yeah.
Well, they could do it they give you free chicken nuggets, but if you want to have chicken wings or a whole chicken, then you have to pay a monthly subscription.
Okay.
Oh wow! If someone says to me you can have free chicken wings for the rest of my life, I would not leave the house.
Imagine if you're eating your meal, you're just tucking into your Colonel's chicken, and then suddenly a little message, a little piece of paper pops up out the box and says, your chicken will be updated, restart now. You close the box, you open it again, and suddenly you've got 2 pieces of chicken in there instead.
Stop it now. Right, let's change the subject.
Or they've added extra herbs and spices onto the coating in the new update.
And
Yeah.
if you have a not tasty chicken, then you can write a bug report.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, if you don't put barbecue sauce in your box, dicks.
There's going to be so many angry vegetarians at the moment, just
What? We don't have any vegetarian subscribers, come on.
What are vegetarians?
We've had a lengthy discussion about chicken in every single episode, I think. They would have given up before now.
I thought chicken was
Okay,
vegetarian.
for the vegetarians, let's keep to the miniatures, please.
For the vegetarians.
Speaking of miniatures, what's the gaming scene like in your area in Germany? Do you do much gaming at all?
Well, he is obviously a gaming scene. Of course, he has stores all over the country, and well, I personally have lost my my wargaming group, and so I'm all alone here a little bit.
Oh, you can
Sometimes I
see.
go to the local store, but actually, as a 35 years old veteran, I don't want to play with 12-year-olds. No,
See, if you come
that's
to
not fair.
Leeds,
That's
there's
not fair.
actually like 3 or 4 wargamers, and we're all at the age of 12.
Yeah. So all you've got to do is delete.
I don't have anything against 12-year-old wargamers, but actually to play against them is like uh, taking a baby's lolly. It's not fair. I don't want that.
And then if you lose, you won't be able to live with yourself.
Yeah.
The shame. Right. Oh, I've had a question for me. Special
Okay.
question just for me from Mr. Graham Collin. Wants to know if I've got my 47mm FRC carrier yet, which is the brand new Belgian release for bolt action, which looks very delicious. And no, I have not got one yet. I think I might have to wait for Christmas for that one. Yet another Belgian unit in bolt action that has bad special rules. Special rules that make it worse.
Well, last night I was browsing with Andy of the 2 of the D of the D of the 6. I was looking at bolt action too.
Yeah, it's too bad.
What was that? A secret picture?
That was a picture of my cat. And the cat is fast asleep on my balcony.
Yeah, I've been looking at bolt action, and I don't want like one of the typical armies like Americans, Brits, or Germans. I want to go for like somewhat different. So I've been looking at Japanese, Finnish, Russians, Polish. There was some. Oh yeah, were they Finnish that have the ski guys?
Yes.
So they've got ski guys on skis, and if it's no snow, obviously they can't do no.
Well, if there's no snow, then they're just normal troops. But you've paid for skis. So if you make yourself a nice snow table and invite people around to play on it, they'd be
In
fun.
Leeds, yes. That's another excuse for people who collect Finnish armies to come to Leeds. Wow, it's coming on this, isn't it? Like, yes.
I think you need to win the lottery, build a huge estate of houses just for wargamers.
I'm not even lying though. If I won that like 198 million, I would have like it was so awesome. It would be awesome. The thing is, I would actually stick it to England as well, and I'd probably move to closer to an airport. I could move to like somewhere near Leeds and Bradford Airport, so you could just get the plane and train straight in.
Get your own
And,
private Spud jets with KFC on board.
I'd leave it here because the weather, yeah, it is pretty terrible most of the time, like 9 months a year. But we don't have anything poisonous that can kill us, like, or eat us. It's not gonna like walk out and like, oh shit, is that tiger? What am I gonna do about it? You know? But it's not really dangerous. The other thing that's dangerous is like the botherers. And that's it, really.
It's really got to span up like British culture. It's just like, yeah, our country's quite shit, but we don't have anything that can eat us.
Eat or kill us, yeah.
I don't know, have you seen the size of some of the spiders that have been coming in at this time of year?
Well, that's just. I don't believe anything that paper says other than the sport, and I still probably get that wrong.
Do we have any questions from the live audience, maybe?
I don't know. Andy, have we got any other questions at all in the
I
comments?
close my box.
Well, let's see. Well, we do have Mr. Graham Collin, who is, again, a wonderful suggestion from him. He's suggesting that if you punch the botherers the first time round, then they'll remember and they won't ask you again.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
Anything else?
He also wants free popcorn chicken, by the sounds of it.
Is Graham the only one watching us tonight?
He's not the only one watching. I think he's the only one commenting. It's just a long stream of him talking about popcorn chicken and French surrendering and American copywriting things.
So basically, he's commenting so much that no one else can be bothered now.
Yeah, there might be like tons of other people buried underneath his comments, but I'm not seeing them. Right.
I have a question as well.
Rescue famous Wolf. Yes, you have a question.
I noticed on your channel it's mainly GW / Forge World bits and bobs, so mainly focused around that side of things. Are there any other ranges or companies that you would like to either do tutorials on or just collect the miniatures at all? Anything in particular that side of things?
Well, there are a few miniature lines here and there, but let's say it that way. I am investing in Games Workshop because I play Games Workshop games.
Okay.
So if I would start something else, like Relics, for example, or War Machine, or Mantic Games, Kings of War, or something like that, I would have to invest a whole lot of money into that to actually start that, and I don't want that.
No,
So
that's right.
other than that, here and there are some miniatures that I like, then I buy them and paint them. But for a new gaming system or something like that, there's always this argument. Oh, GW is getting too pricey. I stop GW now and move on to this company.
Mm-hmm.
This is, in my opinion, the stupidest thing that you can do, because you actually have already bought the Games Workshop stuff, and why stop the game? You have the stuff. You don't have to buy anything more to play the game when you have the stuff.
There are some companies that obviously are a little bit cheaper and stuff like that, but I mean, if you're gonna switch to like War Machine and stuff like that, I find that their models are pretty much just as expensive for what you're getting. If you like went for like the colossal things in War Machines, the huge things, they're like 100 quid odd, something like that, £100.
Yeah, easy.
If you go for the big things at Games Workshop, they're £85. So, kind of like they're the same. I mean, there's always going to be the argument of, oh, it's resin or it's metal or whatever, but it's I do tend to find a lot of it's been misjudged when looking at comparison between the companies and stuff like that.
Anytime you want to get into a new game, there's always going to be some level of investment. And if you're already into lots of games, then you have the choice of either, do I sell all the stuff that I've already got for this game and try and get a bit of money so I can play more other games, or do I just limit how many other games I'm going to get into and just keep all the armies? Which is kind of what I'm doing. I'm like collecting an army for almost every single game that exists. Almost. It's getting a little bit crazy.
I think a lot of the time it depends. You have to have like actually someone you can play the game with. Otherwise, you're just collecting an army. You're like, okay.
I think that's kind of why I got rid of my like 40k stuff, because I was playing it like once a year.
That's fair enough.
And obviously with everything that went on, I had pretty much no choice but to sell it.
If you have limited space all of a sudden.
Well, yeah, it went from having like my own room to I had to fit everything in a case. So it went from like one extreme to the other, and now I've got a little bit more space. Maybe one day. I don't think I collect Space Marines though. They can just go away. I think I'd have to collect something else. I think, if anything, I would probably do fantasy, because it seems to be what I've kind of seen, that the people that in the fantasy community are slightly sometimes maybe a little bit more chilled, but I suppose I haven't really been in that yet. So
it just depends which bit of the fantasy community you associate with. As with any community, you can pick who you play with, unless the community is so small that you don't have a choice.
Well, there's also a little bit of an age tag on several miniature games. So, for example, let's say Games Workshop. What I observe in my local stores is that most fantasy players are 25 years plus,
Right. Yeah.
Then Warhammer 40k is most of the time 16 plus, and Lord of the Rings is 12 plus.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense in my area. A lot of the older gamers fantasy.
See,
Fantasy.
I didn't mind Lord of the Rings, like the first ones that they brought out. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I liked it. I mean, one, because I liked the books. Two, I liked the films. And three, I didn't actually mind the models. And the rules I didn't find were really that bad for myself. Plus Lord Alessio Cavatore as well. And then it kind of just like it just went into a massive flop, and like just no one did it, and it was just like, well, I'm playing it on my own now. So I had
The
no choice
problem
to get
with
into it.
Lord of the Rings is, I think, is the rule system. The rules
Yeah,
are somewhat nice for a skirmish-based game, but the skirmish-based games have the tendency that you buy some stuff and then you stop because you have
yeah,
enough to
true.
play with. Where on stuff like Warhammer 40k or Warhammer Fantasy or War Machine or other gaming systems that are supposed to play on a bigger scale, you can keep buying and buying and buying. And so I think Lord of the Rings had its peak already. And
Yeah. After the films have gone and died as well, I know the Hobbit's coming out, but it's not quite as big.
It's not big. Like the first one that come out was mental. The second one was pretty mental, and the third film was probably mental as well, but not as much. And then when the Hobbit come out, I pretty much hardly saw it at all.
I think that's a general thing. Everyone that kind of the Hobbit, like everyone got really excited about the Hobbit, and then they went to see it, and they came back and it was like, yeah, it was good.
It's because there were no epic battles like there were in the first three.
Yeah, you,
well, the epic battle you get in the third film.
yeah, true. Whereas like with Lord of the Rings, like the first one's kind of building up to it. Even like at the beginning though, there was a little bit of an epic battle there.
Yeah, there's that bit, and
In
then
Balin's
there's
Grave, there
Weathertop.
was the battle, but
Yeah.
a really big battle was in Two Towers
The Two
against the
Towers
Rogue
battle
Army.
scene for me is probably still one of the best fight scenes ever. When that old man lets go of that bow, the arrow, and kills that Uruk-hai, all of them start. I remember being in the cinema and watching that. I think I pooed a little bit. Like when they all started like shouting, I was like, "This is well scary." Like, proper bad. And then when Gandalf pops along, I was just like, "This is sick. This is like the best thing I've ever seen in my life."
Had
And
you
then
discovered chicken by that point?
no,
Have
and
you
then
guys ever seen the how it should have ended?
I haven't seen the Lord of the Rings ones. I've seen a couple of the Hobbit ones.
Well, the Lord of the Rings ones are always the same, always about the eagles. You
yeah,
could
we've
you
spoke
could
about
have
this,
Lord of
haven't
the
we?
Rings in 15 minutes.
It's
Oh,
just
it's the
like
One Ring. Let's take the eagles.
Yeah.
we're us that were talking about in a discussion that time about the Eagles, and it's kind of a conspiracy. That's what Gandalf tells me in the first film.
Yeah. Also
I
for
wrote
the
an
Hobbit,
article
the
about it.
eagles carry them to a mountain, and then they still have to walk almost.
Yeah.
Why can't the eagles bring them directly there?
I did see an article on Facebook explaining why the Eagles could only take them part of the way or something like that. It made sense at the time,
Because
but
of
I
the
can't remember
Nazgul.
it word for
It's
word now.
it's not like they are going out of fuel or something.
I think it was at the
Yeah.
time probably to do with Nazgul, or the Nazgul were about, so maybe that's why.
Who knows?
Well,
Right.
you had Gandalf. He could make his flashlighty thing, and the Nazgul would run.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. There's loads of things, isn't there? Because you could have Legolas on one. You could have Sam on another one with his frying pan, running around slapping everyone. Gandalf with his magic torch. Oh, they're well easy, doesn't it? There you go. Film over.
You wouldn't have been able to squeeze a trilogy out of that, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
No, I mean, literally, if you pay me a fiver, you can watch my 10-minute film. It's awesome.
Well, we've been going an hour, but before we draw this to a close, It's time for arguably the most delicious part of the show. Wouldn't you agree, Spud?
It is. It's like when the mummicle turn up in Return of the King.
Delicious.
It's time
Delicious.
for the poem of the week.
Yeah, buddy.
Someone got the drum roll queued up for me.
Oh, hang on.
I think Mr. Elson going to do it. Take a seat and watch girl painting. Her paintbrush abilities will have you fainting. She'll work those skin tones and armour plating, more elegant than watching two swans mating. Her paint jobs are worthy of a 5-star rating. Her showcases are nice, but could use more rotating.
Yeah.
I have a rotating table.
Yes, but I don't think it comes out often enough. It's not a real showcase unless it's just music playing and a model just turning around for 15 minutes.
Yes.
And with that, I think we've ridden this emotional roller coaster over the many highs and lows, and I think we've come back to the station.
So, I would like to thank our special guest, part 2 of this emotional roller coaster journey, for joining us today. So, thank you, Miss Alexandra from GirlPainting.
Thank you for having me here.
It's always emotional. We'd love to have you back in part 3 in another day in the future.
Girl painting, now even more.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
even
And
more
when you
delicious.
move to Leeds, we'll be able to like just meet up all the time. It's gonna be great. I would like
Let
to
me
thank.
shortly think about that. No.
You might change your mind.
A little bit of work. We'll get there.
Yeah.
It's fun to do a video where he does a tour of Leeds and shows everyone how much KFC there is around there.
There's plenty.
It's just everywhere. So, thank you for joining us, our lovely audience, especially Mr. Graham Collin, who's been personally carrying the comments for this episode.
What a nice guy. And if you're rewatching this, please leave a comment below. And if there's any questions, we'll try post them over.
And bad news for anyone who was hoping to tune in for our D&D episode tonight. There isn't going to be one, unfortunately, but it will be back either sometime later this week or next week at the usual time, so keep your eyes peeled and look at Facebook, and we'll announce further details on that as and when they are available. So,
Also, if you're at Derby World this weekend, come over to the Tor Gaming stand and Spud Tate will be there running demos just after one.
yep, run up, give Spud a hug.
Give Spud a
Thank you.
Buy a surprise and give him a hug, then go.
Yes, in the next video.
hug.
Good night, folks.
Love you all, guys. Thanks a lot.
Keep on chilling.